Good morning. Today's presentation is about ketogenic diet, or what's called keto diet. The diet is a low-carb diet, rich in fat and bland that has been used for centuries by a specific medical condition. In the 19th century, the ketogenic diet was commonly used to help control diabetes. In 1920, it was introduced as an effective treatment of epilepsy in children in whom medication was ineffective. The ketogenic diet has also been tested and used in a closely monitored setting for cancer, diabetes, polycystic ovary syndrome, Alzheimer. However, this diet is gaining considerable attention as potential weight loss strategy due to low-carb diet craze, which started in 1970 by the Atkins diet. That is very low-carb diet, high protein, which was a commercial success and popularized low-carb diet at a new level. Today, the low-carb diet, including paleo diet, 𝒂𝒏𝒕 diet, Dukan diet, are all high in protein but moderate in fat. In contrast, the ketogenic diet is distinctive for its exceptionally high fat content, typically 70 to 80%, though with only moderate intake of protein. Mechanism of action: the premise of ketogenic diet for weight loss is that you deprive the body of the glucose, the main source of energy for all cells in the body, which is obtained by eating carb food. An alternative fuel called ketones, and ketones are produced from stored fat, and that's the term ketogenic. The brain demand that most glucose in a steady supply, about 120 grams a day, because it cannot store glucose. During fasting or very little carb intake, the body first pulls the stored glucose from the liver, temporarily breaks it down, and release glucose. If this continues for 3 to 4 days, and stored glucose will be fully depleted, and blood level of hormone like insulin decrease, and the body begins to use its fat as a primary fuel. The liver produces ketone bodies from fat, which can be used in the absence of glucose. When ketone bodies accumulate in the blood, this is ketosis. Healthy individuals naturally experience mild ketosis during the period of fasting or overnight sleep and very strenuous exercise. Proponents of ketogenic diet state that if the diet is carefully followed, level of ketone should not reach hormone level, known as ketoacidosis, as the brain will use the ketones for fuel, and healthy individuals will typically produce enough insulin to prevent excessive ketones from forming. How soon the ketosis happen and the number of ketone bodies accumulate in the blood is variable from person to person and depends on factors such as body fat percentage and resting metabolic rate. The diet, ketogenic diet with a specific ratio of macronutrient. Macronutrient will be carb, protein, and fat. Ketogenic diet typically reduces total carbohydrate intake to less than 50 grams a day, and less than the amount of food in medium plain bagel, and can be as low as 20 grams a day. Generally, popular ketogenic source suggests that 70-80% of fat of the daily carb, 5 to 10% daily calories, 5 to 10% carbohydrate, and 10 to 20% protein. For a 2,000 calorie diet a day, this translates in 165 gram fat, 40 gram carbohydrate, 75 gram protein. Protein amount for ketogenic diet is kept moderate in comparison to other low-carb, high-protein diet, because eating too much protein can prevent ketosis. The amino acid in the protein can be converted to glucose, so ketogenic diet specifies that enough protein to preserve the lean body mass, including muscle, but would still establish ketosis. Many various ketogenic diet exist, but all ban carb-rich food. Some of these food may be obvious. Starches from both refined and whole grain, like bread, cereal, pasta, rice, cookies, potatoes, corn, and other starchy vegetables, and fruit juice. Some that may not be so obvious, like beans, legumes, and most fruits. Most ketogenic plans allows food that is high in saturated fat, such as fatty cut of a meat, processed meat, lard, butter, as well as sources of unsaturated fat like nuts, seeds, avocados, plant oil, and oily fish. Depending on the source of information, ketogenic food list may vary and even make some conflict. The food center generally permitted or allowed is there is a strong emphasis on the fat in each meal and a snack to meet the high fat requirement. Cocoa butter, lard, poultry fat, and most plant fat like olive oil, palm coconut oil are allowed, as well as food high in fat such as avocado, coconut, meat, certain nuts, macadamia, walnut, almonds, pecan, and seeds. Some dairy food may be allowed, although dairy can be a significant source of fat. Some are high natural lactose sugar, such as cream, ice cream, full-fat milk, so they are restricted. However, butter, hard cheese may be allowed because of the lower lactose content. Protein stays moderate. Program often suggests grass-fed beef, not grain-fed, free-range poultry that offer slightly higher amounts of omega-3 fatty acid, pork, bacon, wild-caught fish, organ meat, egg, tofu, certain nuts and seeds. Most non-starchy food include leafy green like kale, Swiss chard, collard, spinach, bok choy, lettuce, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprout, asparagus, bell pepper, onion, garlic, mushroom, cucumber, celery, summer squash. Certain fruit in a small proportion like berry. Despite containing carbohydrate, they are lower in net carb and they are good fruit for the ketogenic diet. The dark chocolate that has 90% or higher cocoa solid, cocoa powder, unsweetened coffee, tea, unsweetened vinegar, mustard, herb, and spices. The food that is not allowed, all whole and refined grain and flour products added and natural sugar and fruit and beverages, starchy vegetables like potato, corn, and winter squash. Fruits other than from the allowed list, unless factored into design carbohydrate restriction, all fruit juice are forbidden. Legumes like beans, lentil, peanut. Although some program allow small amount of hard liquor or low-carb wine and beer, most restrict full carb and wine and beer drinks with added sweetener, cocktail, mixer with syrup, juice, flavored alcohol. There's something called net carb or impact carb, are familiar phrase in ketogenic diet as well as diabetic diet. They are unregulated, interchangeable term invented by food manufacturer as marketing strategy, appearing on some food label to claim that the product contain less usable carbohydrate than is listed. Net carb or impact carb are the amount of carbohydrate that are directly absorbed by the body and contributed calories. They are calculated by subtracting the amount of ingestible carbohydrate from total carb amount. Indigestible unabsorbed carbohydrate include insoluble fiber from whole grain, fruit and vegetables, sugar, alcohol such as mannitol, sorbitol, xylitol, commonly used in sugar-free diabetic food. However, these calculations are not an exact or reliable science because the effect of sugar alcohol on absorption and blood sugar are not exactly or reliable science, because the effect of sugar, alcohol on absorption and blood sugar also does not change despite the amount of net carb, which is an important factor with weight loss. There is a debate even with ketogenic diet community about the value of the net carb. Programs suggest following a ketogenic diet until the desired amount of weight loss. When this is achieved, to prevent weight regain, one might follow the diet for a few days or a week or few weeks each month, interchange with normal diet of carbohydrate intake. So far, the research showed that ketogenic diet has been shown to produce beneficial metabolic changes in the short term, along with weight loss. Health parameters associated with carrying excess weight have improved, such as insulin resistance, high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, and triglyceride. There is also growing interest in the use of low-carb diet, including ketogenic diet for type 2 diabetes. Several theories exist as to why ketogenic diet promotes weight loss, though they have not been consistently shown in research. A satiating effect with decreased food craving due to high-fat content of the diet, decrease in appetite-stimulating hormone like insulin ghrelin when eating restricted amount of carbohydrate, direct hunger-reducing role of ketone bodies, the body main fuel source in the diet, increased caloric expenditure due to metabolic effect of converting fat and protein to glucose, promotion of fat loss versus lean body mass, partly due to decreased insulin level. In conclusion, available research on ketogenic diet for weight loss is still limited. Most of the studies so far have had a small number of participants, and it is short-term, like 12 weeks or less, and did not include a control group. Ketogenic diet has been shown to provide short-term benefit in people, including weight loss, improvement in total cholesterol, blood sugar, blood pressure. However, these effects after 1 year, when compared with the effect of conventional weight loss diet, are not significantly different. Eliminating several food groups and the potential unpleasant symptoms may make compliance difficult. An emphasis on food high in saturated fat also counters recommendation from dietary guideline of the American Heart Association and may have adverse effect on low-density lipoprotein and cholesterol. However, it is possible to modify the diet to emphasize food low in saturated fat like olive oil, avocado, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. A ketogenic diet may be an option for some people who have had difficulty losing weight with other methods. The exact ratio of fat, carbohydrate, protein that is needed to achieve health benefit will vary among individuals due to their genetic makeup and body composition. Therefore, if one chooses to start ketogenic diet, it is recommended to consult with one's physician and dietitian to closely monitor biochemical changes after starting the regimen, and to create meal plan that is tailored to one's existing health condition and to prevent a nutritional deficiency or other health complication. A dietitian may also provide guidance on reintroducing carbohydrate once the weight loss is achieved. Next page, it will be about references, and that brings the end of the presentation. I hope with the little information that I provided, it gives you an idea about the ketogenic diet. This kind of diet cannot be continued for a long time. There are a lot of side effects that comes out of the diet. So before you subscribe to it, you need to get a good amount of education about the diet, benefits, and side effects to achieve the best of health. I hope you enjoyed this presentation as much as I enjoyed preparing it for you. Have a great day.